Kzi Comp hosted a $650 summer mapping contest for Vanilla Kzi. Judging the contest was Robs, a pro player for Vitality who has recently been taking world records in Vanilla, Smie, the Kzi player with the most world records in CSGO and CS2 Kzi, Paul, one of the best CS2 Kzi mappers who won the previous two mapping contests, Bediver, who is known for his hard vanilla map achievements in both CSGO and CS2, and finally Fob, one of the best all-around players who competes at the highest level in both vanilla and CKZ. The 13 mapping teams had 3 weeks to make a map following the theme Vacation Spots. Alcoy's Kzi Scuba takes players underwater with a scuba diving section that was easily the map's biggest highlight. The judges praised the custom props, sound design, low gravity movement, and especially the surf booster section, with Robs calling the concept cool and unique. Most felt that the areas were underdeveloped. Still, the scuba gameplay was one of the contest's most original ideas, and for this it wins the Most Unique Map award. Kzi Santorini by 152 and Justin recreates the narrow streets, white buildings, and caves of Santorini. The judges liked the strong vacation theme, detailed environment, museum section, and memorable soundtrack, which delivered an ambitious and memorable setting. The main issue judges encountered was navigation, with most occasionally struggling to identify the intended route in the starting section. However, judges like Paul were impressed by how successfully the opening area felt like a real city. For the map's interesting gameplay opportunities and the team's clear dedication to the contest, the sponsors award Kzi Santorini with the Sponsors Award. Makis's Kzi Wish You Were Here moves between an oversized room and several stylized paper vacation worlds. Robs compared the opening room to the classic DE Rats custom map due to its magnified section. Each judge praised the contrast between environments, creative use of everyday objects, smooth gameplay, and unique interpretation of the theme. While some areas were a little too dark and a few interactions felt awkward, the map's creativity and personality stood out strongly from the rest. Kzi Asteroid Beach by Randomite combines a summer beach with a science fiction asteroid setting. Judges praised the unusual concept, environmental detailing, slide sections, and the use of vanilla surf mechanics. Smie thought the CKZ style surf felt fresh for a vanilla map, as it's a concept that has rarely been used before. The underground section was generally considered less polished than the beach, however, the central idea was clever, memorable, and the gameplay was one of the strongest in the competition. This was Randomized's first CS2 Kzi map, and the judges have awarded him with the first Best New CS2 Kzi Mapper award. Neon's Gazy Maldives represents a polished tropical resort with clean and accessible gameplay. Bediver thought the Maldives were a perfect match for the summer theme, with Robs confirming the authenticity of the environment. Neon always delivers map with clean gameplay and continues to do so with his map. While judges liked the clear route and steady difficulty, some felt that the repeated scaffolding became slightly repetitive. Overall, the map was cohesive, readable, and technically strong. Y3F created Kzi Calm Coast in only around 2.5 days, making the finished submission impressive by itself, and Bediver calling it an insane achievement. Main highlights of the map include the water slide, warm atmosphere, coastal setting, and short interior gameplay section near the end. The limited development time left some areas visually empty and lacking refinement, but the map still contains several fun and promising ideas. Kzy Bodoan by Tupo places difficult B-Hub gameplay against a detailed temple backdrop. Paul, who is known for 3D modeling and detailed Kzi maps, described the scenery as visually stunning. The judges also liked the logical jump structure, challenging B-Hub sequences, and the learning curve for the harder sections, which can be comboed. judges wished to see the temple environment play a larger role in the actual route. Even so, the map offered focused gameplay with an impressive background. Kzi Forest Retreat by Lucy and Silly Cats follows a river through a quiet woodland environment and focuses heavily on technical movement. Schmizeznaczki enjoyed the riverside route and noticed similarities to Kzi Rise in its custom wall hopping mechanic. All of the judges enjoyed the visuals, booster mechanics, movement variety, and adventurous atmosphere. Unfortunately, some of the triggers felt inconsistent, and the difficulty seemed slightly out of scope for the tournament setting. Still, the map delivered an interesting and mechanics-focused experience. Kazy Cruise by Leetly and Bluefoot Chicken turns an entire cruise ship into a long and varied Kzy course. The judges loved the map's use of custom assets and variety of environments. Everyone especially liked the waterslide section, with Robs calling on how naturally recognizable cruise ship locations were incorporated into the Kzy gameplay. Most felt that the map was slightly too long and that some B-Hop sections could have been shortened, but the map's scale and commitment to the theme stood out from the rest of the competition. Kazy Cruise was by far the community's favorite map, and thus well deserves the community's favorite award. Kzy Vapor by White Meat Breast presents a colorful vaporwave style vacation resort. Paul praised the clean execution of the visual theme, with all the judges liking the color palette, readable route, smooth flow, and recognizable vaporwave atmosphere. The Kzy sections were generally considered simple, and most judges wished the map was slightly longer with more varied gameplay. Still, it had a strong and memorable visual identity. Chronic Traxxer's Kzy Bigfall is a bright, low-poly climbing park built around smooth and straightforward movement. Robs described the gameplay as simple but satisfying. The judges also praised the custom materials, clear route, clean visuals, and the way different jumps could be comboed together smoothly. The main criticism was that the map ended too quickly. Despite its short length, the judges consistently enjoyed its movement and charming presentation. This was Chronic Traxxer's first CS2 Kzy map, and the judges have decided that it deserves the second best new CS2 Kzy mapper award. SV1's Kzy map AF takes players through a colorful coastal village with a more open and exploratory route. The map's open structure and striking visuals give it a unique identity. The judges liked the village atmosphere, visual presentation, player freedom, and competitive potential of learning the fastest path. While most judges had some difficulty finding the intended route and a few large skips were possible, Fob was especially impressed by how naturally the gameplay blended into the environment without relying heavily on obvious route markings. Each map was judged according to gameplay, visuals, theme incorporation, and fun. After taking into account the community scores, the winners of the contest are Kzi Asteroid Beach, Kzy Wish You Were Here, and Kazy Cruise. All of the results can be found at kzcomp.com. Congratulations to everyone on completing some amazing maps, and we look forward to using them in the Vanilla World Cup planned later this year. We would like to finally thank the sponsors for making this event possible.